Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. Last month, this guy, Rico Greenidge, he was in your news last month. He paid his sister for stealing her Apple Watch. So he went into his mother's house where his sister lives and he was accused of stealing. He said the only reason he said he took her watch was because he wasn't going to get bail or some kind of crazy excuse he gave for paying her for her missing watch. And he was saying to her that you can track it and blah blah blah. And he paid. He paid for the sister's stolen watch. Now he's again in court for hitting his mother. Okay, he hit his mother. So he was living at his mom's house. Is that what we're supposed to understand? He's 35 years old, by the way. 35 years old. And he is still living at his mother's house. And he's talking about, mommy, how can you do this? Like, not stand for bail for me. It seems though when he was in court, let me move over a little bit. When he was in court, she got him and walked out. She got up and she walked out on him. She did not stand bail for him. And when they asked him, well, since your mom is not standing bail and you and your mom not doing too well because, you know, she's accusing you of hitting her, which he denied. He said, well, I live somewhere, like he can do some kind of invisibility act, which is, I like, that's a different story. But yeah, but he doesn't live anywhere other than his mom's house. So that's why they sent him up to the hotel in St. Philip. He's up at the hotel in St. Philip, accused of assaulting his mother, Belle. This seems familiar. It just seems familiar to me. But long story short, at 35 years old, he's not supposed to be at your house at 35 years old. If he raised his hand to hit you, it means that you didn't raise him well. You did not raise him to know it's something you never ever do. You don't raise your hand to hit your mom. He's 35 years old. He should know better. So he's known to the court. He is known to the court. So here it says, he loudly demanded of her what? Like, do you want me to go to jail? That's what he was saying, that they were putting pressure on her to say what she said. Like, who? The police? He's claiming the police put pressure on his mother, not the mothers in Barbados. Not the mothers in Barbados. Can't put pressure on them to send their kids to prison, although they know that their kids ain't no good, although they know full well that they brought in a demon. If anyone reads the Bible, if any of you claim to be a Christian nation, right? If any of you read your Bible, you know that anything that comes out of you is a demon. They're demons. And then you have to kind of tell them, oh no, this is earth. You don't go around killing people. And you know, you have to share. And if you step on someone's foot, you say, excuse me, if not, you can get stabbed. And that, you have to tell them what goes on here, you know, and try to keep them out of trouble, try to keep people from, you know, assaulting them. It's a hard game that you come into when you come here. But believe you me, you're birthing demons, and depending on how you interviewed the person who fertilized your egg, depending on how you vetted them, depending on what kind of pedigree you were looking for, depending on all that, it's going to determine what your child is going to end up being. You guys like criminals. You do. You like criminals. You want your child to come up and rob people. You see how that sounded when I said it? You see, when I said that you want your children to grow up to be robbers, crooks, violators of other human beings, did you hear how it sounded? How it resonated with you? But yet, Yet you are not picking well. You are not, no matter who you pick, you're bringing in a demon, no matter who you pick. But they're different neighborhoods in this hell. I think you know that. You know the boulevards and whatever you call them there in Barbados. There are different levels of hell. Okay, there are different levels of hell. And depending on who you pick to fertilize your egg and the assistance you're going to get from that person and maybe the extended family of that person and your family and the prospects of that child attending higher education, becoming something. It's still a demon. It's still a demon. But at least it doesn't have to be a demon who's going to another hell like prison, Hotel St. Philip. It doesn't have to be a demon who took away the sovereignty of another human being by, being a predator and assaulting someone. You don't need to be that kind of demon. You could be an upright, a decent type demon, but it depends on who your mother chooses to fertilize your eggs, her eggs. But yeah, he is off to Hotel St. Philip. His mom, he has no one to stand bail for him. He should not be in his mother's house at 35 years old. He should have his own place, his own transportation, whether it's transportation like a car or he should have money to get on a van or whatever, but he should be doing that for himself. Anything outside of that, you know what I call it, right? You already know, but I call it emotional incest. Emotional incest is unconscious. Yeah, you probably don't think that you're dealing in that arena, but you are. You're supposed to let your children go. You're supposed to give them enough information. You're supposed to give them enough information for them to understand, okay, it's time for me to find my way. It's time for me to pick some kind of something to make money. Money is a nasty thing, but this is earth. It's earth. It's a fallen state you're in, a fallen state. So any place you go that is still dealing with money, you know that it's a hell. It's a hell. No advanced society would have money as a way for you to have to survive. You have to make money. You have to go down and work and make money that someone else created. Someone else just created it and they want you to come and work for it for you to buy shit. That's a fallen state. You are in the state of a fall. Can you imagine? You see, they use trees and to make money. And I read a little snippet. It wasn't a big thing, but I've read it before and I actually searched it out and I read it again yesterday. And it's a story of when the first leaf fell from a tree on the earth in the newness of the creation story. When that first leaf fell from the tree, the whole earth wept. The whole earth fell to its knees and wept because they understood that that was the beginning of the fall. Now leaves fall every day. You don't give a shit. You don't care. Leaves just fall and trees get rotted or whatever. There was a time when using the equipment that you have now, you cannot penetrate the bark of a tree. You cannot penetrate a tree, the trunk of a tree. It was harder than concrete, cement. It was harder than granite. It was the trunk, the way a tree grew was so tremendous and so solid. You could not use no hammer and nails back then to penetrate that tree, to hang anything from it or whatever. You could not cut it down. Could not cut it down. It was impenetrable. That was back in the days of creation. Now trees are little skinny little things and you think you know it all. You think you know it all, but when you look at ancient texts and when you talk to natives, the natives, and you hear these stories, it's a tremendous amount of information that is kept away from people on the whole. There's a lot of things that they're not telling you. And I'm telling you again that when that first leaf fell, it was a sorrowful day. It was a sorrowful day. Not even the sun wanted to shine when the first leaf fell. So it only goes to show how degraded a state you're in when leaves fall all the time and you don't even notice. It is of no moment. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.